When you look at numbers across the board, the wrestling numbers have greatly decreased.
But SmackDown, their rating was their lowest ever.
All right, sit down, buckle up, hydrate, stretch, do whatever the hell you need to do, because today we're diving into one topic that melts the internet faster than CM Punk melts down in a locker room.
It's a disgrace to this industry. It's a disgrace to this company. Now, we're far beyond apologies.
Why Vince McMahon, yes, Vincent Kennedy, I'll rewrite the show at 4 a.m. while bench pressing a car, McMahon was better at creative than Triple H. And I know the comments are already flooding in, but Hunter saved the WWE. Yeah, well, Vince built the WWE. Hunter took over the WWE. There's a huge difference. It's kind of like saying the guy who microwaved leftovers is a better chef than the guy who actually cooked Thanksgiving dinner from scratch.
I mean, you get up like everybody else and you go to work. I mean, I love what I do.
But before we get into this topic, please check out our Attitude Era Generation merchandise store, which has an assortment of caps like the one I'm wearing now, as well as hoodies, t-shirts, and more. And I'll drop the link in the description below. Let's start with the fact that Vince McMahon had a sixth sense for what the audience would react to. The man could see a wrestler backstage for like 5 seconds and know if they were going to draw money or not. Triple H, on the other hand, needs 12 analytics meetings, 3 conference calls, and about 14 creative alignment checkpoints, and this is just to pick the freaking theme song.
Into the writer's room as we're laying out our storylines, over months and years.
Now let's take a look at some examples that Vince called way before anyone else. Hulk Hogan. The dude looks like an over-tanned trucker with a gym addiction. Vince saw a global icon while everyone else saw a man who used brother like a comma.
20,000 leagues under the sea is a nice place to deposit somebody, brother.
The Undertaker. Sitcom level goofy on paper, long coat, purple gloves, dead guy, should have flopped, but didn't. Thanks, Vince.
The original character, is based on an old Western Undertaker. The 2 guys in Main Street, they had the fucking shootout. One guy loses, Undertaker comes out, measures him, does the box. Well, that was the original likeness.
The Rock. Rocky Maivia was getting booed like he ran over a freaking puppy when he first started out. Vince still stuck with him though. Now, Triple H would have probably sent him to NXT to level up for repackaging.
Our relationship with Vince and I, it was about the work. I'm willing to put in the work, and I have a tremendous, boundless respect for the business of pro wrestling. That is so deeply important to him. That's his life, it's his world, it's his blood.
Vince gambled, Vince risked, Vince swung the bat. While Triple H, he basically formats the spreadsheet. I mean, remember when Tiffany Stratton dropped one mild reality-tinged line during a promo about Charlotte Flair's failed relationship history?
You may be the queen inside of the ring, but outside of the ring, you ain't the queen of shit. At WrestleMania, Charlotte, you're gonna be just like you are outside of the ring. Alone.
Now, obviously, everyone knows what she was referring to because of social media these days. Charlotte Flair hasn't had the best of luck in relationships. But that one line from Stratton added real heat to the storyline. And in my opinion, made, the whole feud a lot more interesting. But then what does Triple H do?
So I need Tiffany to understand that's obviously not how we do this. Yeah. Right? So she needs to go to Charlotte and apologize.
I think what I did was justified, but maybe I shouldn't have gone that far. But I do feel like I was justified in what I did. I did have to apologize. And that was that.
I mean, for fuck's sakes, probably one of the best feuds, if not the best feud in WWE history, is probably between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. Now, and that was because they genuinely really did not like each other. I mean, there was a real backstage fight. There was the sunny days comment. Sean, and the thing is, Vince recognized this. And both Brett and Sean have said in interviews that looking back in hindsight, Vince probably played them up against each other quite a bit from a back office perspective, because Vince knows that real heat generates must-see TV. Look, Triple H can book a banger of a match, I'll give him that. But Vince created moments so iconic that they're practically American history. Like Austin versus McMahon, you know, the feud that saved the company while WCW was outspending them like a drunk idiot. Then you have Tyson and Austin, where Vince brought in Mike Tyson, the most dangerous man alive at that stage, and basically told him, yeah, shove my top star.
Mike was the guest of the WWF tonight, and Austin, who probably will shortly no longer be a member of the World Wrestling Federation, embarrassed Mike, embarrassed the WWF.
Then we have the Montreal Screwjob. Chaotic? Yep. Ethically questionable? Abso-freaking-lutely. Did it create the Mr. McMahon character, the greatest heel in wrestling history? Yes. Vince basically turned a company meltdown into a marketing plan.
Brett screwed Brett.
Hogan slamming Andre? Vince basically promoted WrestleMania 3 like the Super Bowl had a freaking steroid problem.
Believe me, WrestleMania 3 will be your last lesson. Au revoir.
And what are Triple H's big moments? It's usually some guy pointing at the WrestleMania logo, or, you know, tournament finals because Twitter likes tournaments. Or a 42-minute match where everyone kicks out at 2.999. Cool? Yes. Cultural history? No.
Let's do this, and this will become some iconic moment.
Vince could take most gimmicks and find something that made it work. He could take jobs that sounded like rejected Halloween costumes and somehow make millions of fans give a shit. I mean, some of Vince's characters that shouldn't have worked but did is pretty much, let's take a look. It's a dead mortician with lightning powers, a beer-drinking bold dude who beats up his boss, a high-flying guy that looks like he's part of the Village People, and Mick Foley, who pretty much just dives headfirst into anything, including concrete.
From a serious standpoint, it's a serious business. You know, it's also still and always will be a fun business, and it's something that you have to do with passion, you know, and a degree of levity.
Meanwhile, Triple H is, you know, if they wrestle great matches and they wrestle in great matches and also they wrestle great matches. Vince knew that characters drive business.
If you credit me as being a good businessman, I have value built into these performers and these characters, long-term value. I want to get long-term value out of them.
People also love to pretend that Vince only had the Attitude Era. He also had the Ruthless Aggression Era, which had big stars like John Cena, Batista, Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, Eddie and Benoit's rise came out of that, as well as Kurt Angle pretty much becoming an all-time legend.
So I was learning on the job, and I was getting better and better every week. And Vince continued to push me. Within 3 months, I was at the main event level. It was like, whoa, like what's going on here? Why am I getting pushed so hard? And he just wanted to create another star, and he thought I had the ability to do it.
He also had the PG era, you know, that era that every fan pretends they never watched, where Vince pretty much survived sponsors, network TV standards, Linda running for office, and losing half of the roster to either Hollywood or the UFC. And as well as social media, pretty much turning every booking choice into a freaking hostage negotiation. And yet WWE still broke revenue records year after year. And under Triple H, what do we get? Let's push stables, many stables, all the stables. Let's bring back your childhood favorites, but older, much slower, and freaking confused.
I got a call
earlier that way. I think it was like Tuesday. It was Tuesday, the week of Mania. Triple H calls me. He says, "Hey," he said, "what do you think about doing this, and what do you think about doing that?" And I was like, "Man, I mean, if you need me, of course, I'll do it."
Vince didn't care what hardcore fans thought. He pretty much booked for casuals, families, tourists, and anyone who ever owned a John Cena wristband.
And I think that we're closer to our fans than any other entertainment company. We listen to them almost on a nightly basis when we're performing. What do they like? What do they dislike? And of course, the one sound that speaks louder than any others is silence.
Triple H books for people who post GIFs of Japanese matches at 2 a.m. with captions like, "This is storytelling." Vince McMahon also let wrestlers do cameos on popular TV shows in order to reach a new audience. He basically had the attitude of, fine, if you don't watch wrestling, I'll sneak a wrestler into your favorite sitcom until you do.
Mr. Johnson, you gave that team of midgets an ass whooping, sir.
You pile drive a little guy, and the whole crowd turns on you.
Hey, what do you think, Mankind?
I think the first thing you've got to do is take down that poster because the cute guy is staring at me.
Vince booked characters while Triple H books critics. And I know there are going to be some people that say, yeah, but what about the allegations against Vince McMahon? He wasn't a good person, yada, yada, yada. Look, we're talking about the creative process between these two guys, Triple H and Vince McMahon. If you want to discount everything Vince McMahon's done, then you might as well, erase the whole WWE, because the WWE would not exist without Vince McMahon.
Let me just say that I've made mistakes, obviously, both personally and professionally through my 50-year career. I've owned up to every single one of them and then moved on.
Look, aside from the allegations that I mentioned, Vince had flaws. Many. Some concerning and some downright freaking insane. But they were entertaining flaws. Bad gimmicks? Yep. But they were funny. And some of the storylines were really terrible, but you remembered them.
I've been banned from the NHL and all the leagues in between, one coast to the other.
When Triple H has bad booking, you don't even remember that it happened. Vince's worst ideas became memes that people still quote to this day, while Triple H's worst ideas become creative decisions we regret to inform you were quietly undone.
I'm an entrepreneur. I'm what makes this company, I'm what makes my company and this country go round and round. I take risk, calculated risk.
Vince built household names, people who could walk into a shopping mall in 2006 and cause a freaking riot. While Triple H builds great wrestlers, he doesn't build household names. I mean, Vince made global icons like Hogan, Savage, Warrior, Austin, The Rock, Cena, Undertaker, as well as Roman Reigns. And yes, Vince did build him. Hunter just basically took the training wheels off. Triple H has made stars, people who've had great takeover matches, but your mom doesn't know who they are, and your grandmother also doesn't know who they are. Your grandmother knows who The Rock is, though.
Boom, 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 boom.
Look, Triple H is doing okay. He's smart, he's dedicated, and he listens to fans. But Vince was a crazy billionaire wizard who willed wrestling into the mainstream by pure force of will. He wasn't perfect, he definitely wasn't always sane, and he definitely wasn't always ethical. But he was a once-in-a-lifetime promoter. And while Triple H is a great caretaker, Vince was the freaking architect. And that is why creatively, Vince McMahon was better, period.
I recognize that after I'm gone, no one individual is going to wear as many hats as I wear. And the company has grown to the extent that really it would almost be impossible for any one individual to do that without failing. So whereas in terms of the creative staff and things of that nature and my contributions there, that would be one individual doing that. In terms of the corporate standpoint, it would be another individual doing that.
Now, when it's all said and done, this is just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you agree with me, if you don't agree with me, it's all good. Don't get too bent out of shape if you don't agree with my opinion. And if you do get bent out of shape, you should probably go and see someone. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Check out the merchandise store, and thanks for watching.